like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alright, y'all, I'm back with some new content. This video features Trey, Goku's baby's mother. Guys, please be sure to drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Alright, y'all, let's get into this video.
Hey, what up, bro? What up, brother-in-law? Hey, Revo, how you? I just got back to the house. I had to delete that last live. I was going live on the other page, and I done pulled up to the house and done revealed my address. Not that I got that many goddamn. I don't think nobody cares, but just in case, because I didn't see it happen too much on this fucking app. I'm traumatized at this point. People are crazy. Who knows? You know, all of us probably got at least one hater that just religiously look at your shit that you probably ain't never even had a conversation with. That's how crazy this internet shit be. Yeah. Hey, Shonda, how are you, love? I don't never see you on my live. How are you? Shonda, I went to high school with her. I love seeing my high school people, you know, stop in real quick, check on me. I hope all is well. Yeah, I know, Revo. I already know. You gotta be careful out here. It's people fucking crazy. They just done lost their goddamn common fucking sense on this internet. So you just gotta be careful. People be calling CPS on mothers that they don't like on this internet when they, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. It just be a lot of shit going on. Just a couple of weeks.
I ain't even finna hold y'all, but I think she talking about Velvet because Velvet is the one that I know of that she probably knows of that CPS has been called on based on the internet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. It just be a lot of shit going on. Just a couple of weeks, somebody, I ain't gonna say no names because I'm not no reporter or no shit like that, but somebody got CPS called on them, you know, based off of something that they said, something that they shared on the internet. You know what I'm saying? People will call CPS on you, and everybody know black families, we don't fuck. I don't know. Well, I can't speak for no other family, but I know us brown folks, we don't fuck with no CPS unless it's a real situation, a real need for it. Oh, look like I got a line in my face. It must be the filter. So yeah, I don't play them type of games. I be damned. I would make one mistake and then people deem me as not worthy, or let's just say I don't really expose my life on this internet, but let's just say I decided to start sharing a little bit more of myself and be a little vulnerable and shit like that, and then the people on this internet is gonna hold that shit against you. I was just saying this the other day. The moment you say some shit that motherfuckers don't like, they ready to crucify you on this motherfucker. It's almost like you gotta work for the people on this bitch. You know what I'm saying? One wrong move and your ass is grass. Or you dealing with some unnecessary shit.
Y'all, train never lie, because to be quite honest with y'all, if somebody from the internet did indeed call CPS on Velvet, they dead wrong. And karma is going to come back and bite them in their behind. Because not for nothing, Velvet's children do not appear to be under any type of duress, any type of neglect or abuse, especially with where they are right now. Those girls are being well taken care of, and in my opinion, they've always been. Despite the stupid decisions that Velvet has made, those girls are just fine.
You taking a break at work? Oh, okay. I've been good, love. Thank you so much for asking. I've been good. My friend had them come to her. She told them she was beating her daughter. And they said they understand. My friend had them come to her. She told them she was beating her daughter. They said they understand. Wait, I don't get it. She told them she was beating her daughter. Wait, your friend called the people on herself? Oh, they understood why she was beating her. Did they? Is there ever really a necessary? Is beating ever necessary? I just don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if beating is necessary. That word kind of triggers me because, see, my child, she's 2-3 handfuls and people swear I don't beat her enough, so when I hear beat, I'd be like, hold on now, Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes we just got to gather up the little motherfucking patience that we got within us that we always telling the kids that they need to have. Sometimes that's what it takes for us to tap into that patience that we try to teach them and verbally teach them, but we're not actually showing them through example, so they don't really motherfucking know what that is, right? Because we sit up and we just talk. We just talk at kids. We just talk at them. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. And I agree with certain shit that they're not supposed to do, but I believe that half of the shit that we bitch about as parents to kids, we don't even be doing ourselves. I'm speaking from my own experience as a mother who's always talking at my kids. So I'm not talking down on nobody, and I'm not saying, I'm not telling nobody how to do nothing. One thing about it, I'm not going to tell you how to parent, but I will say this. My connection just messed. Okay. Whooping and beating. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not beating, hitting. Okay, yeah, Shonda. All right, cool. Yeah, nah. And I ain't one of them people that be super, trying to correct nobody words neither. So if that's what you meant, I believe you. Yeah, because whooping and beating are two different things. Absolutely. Yeah. They said she was too entitled. Oh, okay. How old is the kid? It came from somewhere. And the reason why I say that is just like, if let's just say the girl is entitled. I just feel like, well, where did it come from? Where did that entitlement? That was a built up process. You know what I'm saying? Like character that she adapted. But where did it come from? And who was nurturing it to the point where now she's so entitled to the point where she deserved to get whoopings? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes as parents, we literally got to look at ourselves. And whooping is not like, whooping only lasts for 2 seconds. Sometimes when you sit down and you tell somebody something, that lasts for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that whoopings don't change things. Sometimes there needs to be consequences, physical consequences, sometimes to, to certain things. But I even have to argue that. Even though I still believe in whooping a little bit, because I'm the generation that got whoopings growing up. I got whoopings. So, but I can also see where just sitting down and talking could have actually did some better good. You know what I'm saying? Now my father, he did it all. See, my daddy, when it was time for us to get a whooping, he took his sweet ass time, because in between each lick, he gonna have a conversation with you about what the fuck it is that you did and why you where you at and what the fuck got you there. And usually it was already, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was already a buildup of trouble, I never got beat. We just got whoopings. Now, sometimes I feel like we did deserve it. But now that I'm an adult and I try to encourage my people not to always resort to whooping, because we don't understand. The thing that we don't study, we study everything the fuck else. We don't study the psychological effects that whooping has on these children. It has had on us even. We think we okay. Shit, I think my head on straight, but that don't mean that it didn't have some type of effect, you know what I'm saying, on me. Like, I got anger problems. Who's to say that didn't come from being whooped and not being able to beat up whoever, you know what I'm saying, not being able to get my lick back as a kid. Who knows? That anger could have, that's not a true story. I just made it up. But I'm just saying, that's how things happen. You never know. You never know. Hey, Bina, thank you. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it if y'all let me. Because, baby, we need to talk about it. Whooping is not, it should not be the number one pick, even for me. I have to remind myself, because that's almost the first thing that I want to resort to, because that's all I was taught. I'm trying to teach myself other ways of parenting and other ways of doing, because I don't want to have to sit down and deal with as much backlash as my parents probably had to sit down and deal with me. You know?
All right, y'all, go ahead and drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Thank you guys in advance.
I'm saying, we'll be surprised as a people how much a conversation will do. You know? And we don't have to look at everything so personally. Like, kids aren't acting up to make our lives hard. They're learning how to navigate their own world. You know what I'm saying? And so if we can also remind ourselves of that, because it feels like it at times, because the responsibility is on you, and ain't nobody got to deal with it but you, for the most part. All of what parenting entails, even if you got your village and you got, help or whatever, at the end of the day, a parent still got to be a parent, no matter how much help they got. And so one thing that I do is I meditate. I take deep breaths. The same way I tell Amora when she's real antsy, because Amora has high energy. I don't want to say that because she's not diagnosed, but she has more energy than normal. Okay, and so what I do is I have her take a few deep breaths. When I see, if you ever seen her on video, even, I'm sure y'all done seen it. Her just moving around, it just look like she don't know which way she want to go. She just got a lot of energy, and her little body can't handle it. Her mind is moving 20 times faster than her body, and she trying to keep up what the fuck going on in her mind. So until it's going to take some time until she get a little older and get it more regulated. But as of now, I've come up with strategies to help her during those times, to assist her, to get her so that she can self-regulate herself, because mommy cannot do the job for you. I can't get into your body and help you control your body. You know what I'm saying? You got to help me help you. And so one thing that I noticed that helps with her is to take a few deep breaths. It literally helps her calm down and regulate her own energy on her own. Now, I say this to say, as parents, that's something that we forget the fuck that we need to do. We forget that we can just take a deep breath and calm down and sit the fuck down and you know what I'm saying, and have a conversation with ourselves and weigh the options of the situation before we react sometimes. How can I better come at this? How can I address this situation to where I can be heard, where it can be the most effective towards my child, or whatever the situation is? But right now we're on the subject of children, and when they do things that we feel like they deserve to get whoopings for. And all I'm saying is, like, for example, just yesterday, this is a perfect example. Just yesterday, Amora, we was doing something. Amora was sitting out in the backyard, and she was doing good for about 30 minutes. She was sitting out in the backyard, and we saw she was doing good. We kept looking. We saw she was doing good. So at that point, we like, oh, okay, she may be a little trustworthy. She was on the back porch on her iPad, and then all of a sudden she wasn't there no more. This girl then got up and walked off. So now I come out, and I'm like, where's Amora? Now my heart beat. Now I'm about to have a heart attack. This girl then took a little walk on her own. She didn't go far, but she then took a little walk. So I find her after. It didn't take long. She wasn't far. She was actually still where I can see her from the house, but I was freaking out so much and trying to zone in on everything that, yeah. So, by the time I seen her, before I just reacted, what I wanted to understand was, what was she possibly thinking? You know better than to leave the house. What are you thinking? Come on now. We trusted you. You was doing good. What happened? And usually that's what happens. Like, sometimes I have moments where I'm like, okay, we're past that, and we're really not. You know what I'm saying? I think we're past something, and I think she's learned the lessons or she's matured in an area, and she hasn't yet. And that's okay. And so with us trusting her to sit out in the backyard actually was on us. That didn't have nothing to do with her. We as adults are responsible for her. You know what I'm saying? We know her.
I ain't even finna hold y'all, but I love the way that Trey actually carries herself, not only as a young woman, but as a mother.
Are responsible for her. You know what I'm saying? We know her. We know that she was going to get her ass up, which is why we kept looking. And it just so happened that the moment that we didn't look, she did. That's on us as adults. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And it's okay to say, you know what? That was my fault. I set you up for failure because I knew better than that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, long story short, when I found her, I was really upset because the first thing on my mind is anybody could have took you. You know better than to leave the house. I almost had a heart attack. You know, I'm trying to explain to her, like, baby, somebody can hurt you. And with my child, it's kind of hard because she has no sense of danger at all. Right now, since she has so much energy and her mind is working so much, she misses her cues. If that makes sense. And so, you know, I'm freaking out and I'm just explaining to her, like, baby, that's dangerous. You cannot leave the house without an adult. Now, I don't really whoop my child, to be honest. As a matter of fact, people in my life get on me and used to get on, and have been getting on me for it since she's been born, because they feel like I'm too soft on her. They feel like, sometimes it's a matter of me being consistent or what they feel like consistency looks like. But the thing is, every situation is different. We're not going to get into the details of whether they was wrong or right. But, I asked her more. I said, what were you thinking? Why did you leave the house? She said, I wanted to go take a walk. You didn't want to go take a walk with me. Now, she didn't ask me to take a walk with her. So this is her just I guess, assuming that I didn't want to take a walk with her. We take walks daily. There's never a time where I don't want to take a walk with her, unless mommy busy doing something. Other than that, if you've been watching me for a minute, ever since she was in my womb, we've been taking walks. One thing we're going to do is take some walks. And it just so happened, she got a lot of energy. So it's needed for her and me in order for me to help her get her energy out so that I can better deal with her and get her down for bed. And Amora's answer was, I wanted to take a walk. You didn't want to walk with me. And I told her, all you had to do was ask any adult and we would have took a walk with you. And when we got back to the house, I did pop her on her thigh a couple of times. Enough to let her know, hey, you don't do that. When it comes down to danger, I feel like sometimes it may be necessary. And I'm going to work through it with myself on that statement, right? Because I still feel, even as a parent who utilizes it at times, I still feel like whooping is the laziest tool of parenting. It is. To me. That's my opinion, though. Hey, Essence. I haven't been looking up at the screen. I'm just running my mouth. Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody that just came in the room. Did black people take that method from slavery as a way to change behavior? Of course we did. Everything comes from somewhere, Revo. Everything comes from somewhere. And so we know the history of slavery. What did they do when you didn't do something that they liked? When you made them upset? Even if you didn't do nothing. When they was mad at you for whatever reason. I mean, we had women who were the wives that were jealous of the slaves because the slave masters was obsessed with the women, obsessed with the slaves and sneaking out at night and raping them and all of this good stuff. Now, the slave ain't having fun. Not really. Even if they did, make that their home and they didn't see what was wrong with what was going on a soul level, that shit ain't, you know what I'm saying? You want to be valued for more than just a man sneaking out of his wife's bed to screw you and then impregnate you and treat you like shit. But the moral of the story is, yes, we did adopt. I feel like we did adapt our whipping methods and discipline methods from slavery. Yes. And I feel like that was the whole point of it. The whole point of it was to fuck us up in that way. To where we without even knowing, we've adapted their ways and made it into something else, and we don't realize that that's what it is. We don't recognize that that's where it's come from. But how much sense do it really make to teach a kid that when you're upset with them or when they do something you don't like, to hit them? And then that's what breeds, if you think about it, right? I'm not saying it necessarily breeds, because there's some men that's just monsters, right? They was raised in good families and they still ended up beating women, right? But I was going to say that's what breeds that type of behavior. Oh, you're not doing what I want you to do? I'm upset with you. I'm angry. I don't like what you just chose to do. What you just did affect me. Or whatever the case may be. Whatever the response is. So now, in consequence to you doing something that I don't like or saying something that I don't like, I'm going to physically handle you. Imagine saying that to an adult, which people do.
All right, y'all. So I am back with another great read. This is the Goddess Affirmation book, authored by Janae. Some of you may know her as Nateri. She is an ex-Carbonation member, and she has authored this amazing book. The book is available on Amazon.com. Just search for the Goddess Affirmation book, authored by Janae Newell.
Handle you. Imagine saying that to an adult, which people do. People do be abusing people as adults. And so imagine that whenever somebody gets you upset or say something that you don't like to you or whatever the case may be, you ready to whoop their ass. And think about it. Don't that energy sound familiar? That energy already exists. There are people that as soon as they get angry, the first thing that they resort to is what we would call violence, physical violence, right? It's called violence when you're an adult and you're doing it to somebody else or whatever the case may be. But it's called discipline. That same thing is called discipline when you're referring to a child and a parent, or a parent, disciplining a child or whatever the case may be. Now, once again, I'm not shitting on the parents that whoop their children, because I pop my child too. Probably not as much as my people would like, right? Oh, you let her walk all over you and da-da-da-da. No. I just know how to open my mouth and communicate, which is a problem that a lot of us have as a people. We don't know how to communicate under pressure. We don't know how to communicate when we're angry, when we're upset. We don't know how to get the words out. So we resort to the most easiest thing to do. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, that's just what makes sense to me. I love to say that's just what makes sense to me. That's just my truth. So don't nobody think I'm trying to what is it called? Trying to recruit nobody into my way of thinking. That's not what I'm trying to do. Now, if you can see something from it, and if my point of view allows you to see things from another perspective, then that's wonderful. But I'm never trying to create a cult of like-minded people. Like, we all think different for a reason, but that's just what makes sense to me. I still feel like whooping is the laziest form of disciplining a child. There are kids who never got a whooping in their life and who are very respectful. And then there are kids who done got whooped their whole life and are not disrespectful. And there are kids who done got whooped their whole life and they are respectful. Right? I was the child that got whoopings. Whoopings were implemented. Now, I wasn't a troublemaker. Don't get me wrong. The most of the time that I got a whooping is because it was the summertime. It was all of my cousins, it was group whoopings. Goddamn, we got in trouble together. As an individual, you didn't see me in trouble. No, I was a very respectable girl. I was very responsible. And, so I didn't just get in trouble by myself most of the time. And I did have a little moment where I got caught stealing once. And my mom, to teach me a lesson, let them put me in juvie for the weekend. And you think I ever stole a thing since then? Nope. Now, if she would have whooped my ass, you know what? Did I get a whooping? Maybe I did. I think I did get a whooping. If she would have just whooped my ass, though, that probably wouldn't have did it. Because after that pain wear off, then it's a new day, new energy. I got options in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I was a bad child, but I'm just saying I don't feel like whooping would have actually did that. Her actually putting me in juvie for that 2 weekends and allowing me to see what that life was really, what it really was about. And if I continued to make them choices, that's what it did. That shit did more damage than any motherfucking thing. I wasn't in the comfort of my bed. I'm motherfucking in a cold ass jail cell. They telling me when to eat, when to sleep, when I could shit and wash my ass. What? Baby, I want my freedom. I like my freedom. And so my point is, lessons don't always have to come in whoopings. And this is only for I know people know that, but some people don't. Believe it or not. Some of my people don't know that. All we know is whooping, whooping, whooping. All we know is I'm angry, I'm upset what you did, and I'm about to physically discipline you. Some of us to the point where we do it to our fucking partners. We don't know how to keep our hands to our fucking selves just because we mad at somebody. Women do it too. Women actually get away with it more than men do. I was reading an article today, and I didn't really look into it, but the title read, some R&B singer, some girlfriend of an R&B singer was killed after years and years of reported abuse and shit like that. And I didn't feel like watching the actual video. This thing is not rolling for me, y'all. Nope, because Africans whooped their children and they weren't enslaved. Whoopings goes back way further than enslavement. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. And we was in war before all of that too. We've always had a violence to ourselves. So I wouldn't say that all of it came from it, but there is a generation that was affected from slavery and what it did. And the main thing we know was that they beat slaves. So that's not, it's not a stretch. We're not reaching. Some of that behavior and picked up behavior did come from slavery, even if it's been here before, right? They took it to a whole nother level. I wasn't here when they was whooping. I didn't know what they was doing. Shit, I wasn't here. I wasn't here for the slavery neither, but I'm going to say this. There was definitely a generation that was directly affected by the aftermath of what slavery did. And so,
all right, y'all, go ahead and drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Thank you guys in advance.
We can't deny that. We can't deny that. I know we don't like to blame everything on slavery shit, and we want to be aware that we had things and we were people before slavery, and we were. But that don't mean that it didn't affect us. So that's all I'm saying. I think some of that behavior is definitely from the acts and choices of slavery. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even the way that we deal with each other even now. And how they used to try to turn us against each other in that era. Like we do it willingly now. I don't know everything. I just know what makes sense to me. I know what we was trying to say, and what we was trying to say was not wrong. Some of that shit did have an effect on us. Maybe not our mamas or our mamas' mamas, but maybe their mamas. You see what I'm saying? And how they did things. It depends on how you're doing. I'm sorry, I didn't see all of this. It depends on how you're doing it to me, because consistency is key in discipline, and every child is different. That's true. Consistency is key. Whoopings were rare for me. I can count on my hands. It was like that for my son, too. Mama, I agree, and that's what I was just explaining. Like, I didn't get a lot of whoopings besides when I was, like, with all my cousins, because it was, like, group activities. We would get in trouble in groups, you know what I'm saying? So that was the most I got whoopings. My mother actually didn't whoop me too much. I really had to do something, like when I was stealing. You know? I really would have had to do something. And I had money in my pocket and still was stealing. She gave me money, so she was hot. Things like that, I remember getting whoopings for, and I could count on fingers how many times I got a whooping from my mother. So I wasn't even a child that was whooped all the time, and I'm still saying And I think I turned out all right. I think I turned out perfectly good. But I'm going to say this. There was times where whooping did come with some type of traumatizing, right, though? Because I'm a protector by heart. And I just remember it affected me. Like, I used to be more hurt about other people getting whoopings than me. Just the witness of it. Like, I used to want to protect them. And so the psychological effect that it had, feeling kind of helpless. Like, my brother used to get in trouble sometimes, and I didn't feel like it was right. Or, you know, it would be like, I didn't agree with why he was getting in trouble or him getting in trouble for whatever he did. And I wanted to protect him. And I couldn't. But I had to watch. Shit like that did fuck with me deeper than anything, than the actual physical beating. Like, I just have always been like that. But I don't think I think that's why I protect people the way that I do now, too. Now that I'm older, it's like, now I got a voice. Can't nobody shut me up. Can't nobody shut me down. So that kind of built that up in me. And now I can't sit around while no fuck shit is going on around me. That's just in general. Like, you can't do anybody any type of way in front of me. I'm going to say something. And my words sting. So yeah, let me finish reading what you're saying, though. I regret whooping him because of school, because that was the only time he got whoopings, and that sucks looking back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why I don't resort to whooping my child, although most people would look at her and say she's bad, is because it's not her fault she got all this energy. Half of the reason why she gets in trouble sometimes just for being her. Not by me, but just in general. And that pisses me off sometimes. But, you know, I know as she get older, she'll learn how to regulate her energy. And I'm just doing the best that I can. But yeah, the reason why I don't whoop her for every little thing she does is because it's not necessary. She's learning and she's growing. Like, for example, now what I do, you know what she loves? She loves that iPad. You know what I do? I take that fucking iPad from her. Now, at one point, her punishment might be the wall, you know, and a couple of pops and stuff. But the one time that I took that iPad as punishment, I promise you that girl straightened all the way up. I was shocked in a motherfucker. I just could not believe that all I had to do was remove some privileges away from her in order for her to get it together. Nothing donged in my fucking head. But now I know. So guess what? Amore had a very good week all week. But then yesterday, she had a rough day. She was, what was some of the things that they reported? That she was having a hard time sitting still during carpet time. Now, mind you, they already work with Amore because she has a lot of energy and they realize it. When you looking out at a whole class of 30 kids and you seeing this one particular energy sticking out all the time, then you know that it's more than just, oh, they're misbehaving. You know, she just has a lot of energy and don't know what to do with it. And so what they do is they work with her. They give her time to, they set a timer. I think they go off like every 10 minutes or something. And if she wants to get up and go get a drink of water, she can get up and go get a drink of water. They're giving her a chance to get some energy off and then go sit back down. You know, so I love that about them. But when you sit down and you just talk to them and try to understand what they was thinking, you never know what kids are thinking. They're little brains. Amore only been here for 4 years, about to be 5 years. It's about to be a 5-year anniversary, her 5-year anniversary since she been on Earth. My 5-year anniversary of being a mother. Can you believe this shit is crazy? This time is going by way too fast. What? You know, and so their little brains is not all the way developed. Like, we expect for them to be as sharp as us, and that it's not fair. It's just not. Some of us as adults have a hard time sitting at a desk for hours.
Now, her live glitched a little bit right there as she was licking her blunt. I just want to say, before any of y'all start y'all judgment, first and foremost, Trey lives in a state where marijuana is absolutely, positively legal. She's in the state of Florida. So don't get started on the fact that she's rolling a blunt right now. Because by law in the state of Florida, you can smoke whether it's medical or recreational.
Hard time for doing for trying to navigate and learn through this life. We got to have more patience. A lot of my people need more patience with these kids, and that's it. Patience is going to get you a lot further than whooping their ass every chance you get. Trust me. And it builds communication skills. To be able to communicate when you're upset, when you're hurting, when you're angry as fuck is a superpower. As an adult, you need to learn how to do that. But if you taught if nobody teaches you as a kid, then how do you know? How do you know? I'm still learning how to communicate through my anger as an adult. What? I got to give myself a couple of days to sit and sleep on some shit to regulate it. You see what I'm saying?
She doing better than me. A couple of days, child, I can stay mad for a long time. And it's not that I stay mad. It's just that things that cause disruption or disturbance in my life, I just choose to remove it, whether that's people, places, or things. Like, my life should be peaceful. I'm a peaceful person. So I just don't accept any drama, negativity, none of that.
On some shit to regulate it. You see what I'm saying? But had I have been, and not saying, sometimes parents drop the ball on one thing, but they was A1 on this. It just so happened I didn't have nobody teaching me good communication skills under pressure, when I'm angry, how to communicate. It was not shown, and so it was not taught, right? And so I see that about myself, and I don't want that to be a moral story. I want her to be better than I was, just like my mother always tell me, I want you to be better than I was. And so I tell her more, I want you to be better than me. I want her to be able to communicate under any type of feeling, because that's something that I wish I was able to do resiliently, and I'll get there, and I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm able to recognize and see myself. It's important to be able to see yourself clearly. Don't distort your own vision of what you see. Be real with yourself about yourself. That's how you grow. And so I'm always looking at myself and seeing what I can change. Thankfully, it wasn't often. Yeah, I was that same way. I didn't get whoopings a lot. I got more whoopings from my daddy when in the summertime. And that goes to show you, because I was only with him part-time. And it was a group thing. Like I never got in trouble as an individual. Except for when I got older with boys. I had to have me a boyfriend. I got in trouble a lot with boys. I was very sexually active early. And shit. Yeah. I got in trouble most of the time was for that. It wasn't for being disrespectful, it wasn't for not cleaning up or cooking. I did all of that. I've been cooking full meals since I was 7 years old. I've been taking care of cleaning a household, making it a home since as long as I could fucking walk and talk, but when it came down to boys, that's always been my little thing. Like, because, my father, although I'm aware of him and we're close as fuck now, that I'm an adult, but there was times where I needed him to be more present and he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? In high school. Because of the fact that was the perfect time for him to be super involved, was when I started liking boys, And he wasn't always the best example as far as how a woman should be treated all the time. But my dad was a decent guy, though. He took care of a home. I never really seen him disrespecting, my stepmom or anything like that. I do remember maybe a couple of arguments. I don't even remember that too much. They weren't toxic like that. I remember how much he appreciated and loved on her, you know what I'm saying? But he also, had other girls and stuff like that. So if we talking about, like, faithfulness, then it wasn't the best. And depending on what household he was, depending on how close we were, But, yeah, around that time, when I started being boy crazy, that's when I really, really needed my father. And it was the opposite. Like, I had a stepdad, in my life who had been in my life since I was 4, but he really didn't treat me like I was his daughter. He didn't treat me like I was his daughter. It got to a point where I didn't even want to be in the house because of him. And so I didn't want to be home. That's a big deal for a girl not to want to be home most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And not comfortable in her own home. And so I put all of my faith in my friends which is why I don't talk to none. It really wasn't them. It was probably me. I was too dependent on friends. I was too dependent on boyfriends because I needed something outside of home. You know what I'm saying? I needed some type of comfort. Looking back, that was my own shit that I had to work through. But I say all this to say that was the only time I really got in trouble. And my stepdad used to purposely try to get me in trouble just so me and my mom could be at odds, because he loved when we was at odds. Loved it. He loved when she was on his side about some shit and at odds with me. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Then he could fuck with me without her caring. Sometimes we just suppress at our baby's energy and they just want to be. It's complicated in this case. It is. It is essence. And that's the biggest thing that I feel like I should talk about more. How resilient Amora is from that transition. Like, she was born and raised free. Like, literally. Where she could run around.
For those of you who may not know, her daughter was actually born in Honduras. And I believe she was there up until she was almost 2 years old. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But her daughter was born overseas.
Free. Like, literally. Where she could run around and just free. You can't do that here. Like, this is not a beach, baby. It's a street right there. You cannot look. That's the street right there. And so it's just like, once she learned and got used to a way of living, it was like, boop, now we're here with it. Now things are different here. Yeah, I know that's how you did it there, but this is how we do it here. And so it was a big shock for her. And there was a lot of resistance because of that change. But she's resilient. So like I said, eventually she's still learning. But yeah, it's a culture shock to come from one place to another. It's a culture shock to come from America and go there, but then once you settle there, it's a culture shock to go from there and come back to this motherfucker. It's a whole nother level of culture shock. It's like, whew, listen, that's a conversation in its own. Some children just need more space, and Babylon suppresses children's energy because it's not safe to just be. That's correct. It's not. It's not. It's not always safe to just be here. Like, she can't just be all over the place at school, And it's kind of militant. They make them stand in a line. You got to sit still. You got to raise your hand. You got to this and that. But we all did it, and we was all okay. Not saying that, I just agree with all of the methods. But I'm also not sitting up here trying to teach her myself. I'm not trying to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not trying to teach them. I'm not trying to sit and be a teacher to her. So I can't complain about what the teachers are doing. You see what I'm saying? I'm teaching her every day, naturally, just organically, as I mother and parent. But as far as sitting down and teaching, like, hey, this is class. It's this time. This is this, A, B, C, D. No. I'm more of, I teach her as she acts. I teach her as we go.
All right, y'all. Go ahead and drop me a comment. Smash the heck out of that like button and share. Thank you guys in advance.
As new things come up, I tell her what it is, and that's how I teach. Now, since the school year started, her school did suggest for us to have carpet time at home. And what that does is that allows me to be on somewhat of the same schedule as her teacher so that Amora can get better adjusted to everything. And so we do have learning time here for about 30 minutes a day, where she has a learning station, and I sit down with her. Most of the times I sit down with her. Other times I might have her sit and draw, or I'll have her only on her learning apps on the iPad, or things like that. Her teachers taught me that, hey, you don't have to go full blown teacher, but you do need to have certain moments where she's learning and where this is learning time so that she can know, there's playtime and there's learning time, even at home. And so I think that has been doing well for her, and I love that they suggested that. I love the professional view on it. I loved it. I loved having that professional view. And what I love about Dobie Elementary is that they have psychiatrists there for the kids. They have psychiatrists that actually observe the children and that gives the teachers feedbacks on what can be better, a better learning tool for them, or how they can better deal with them, and so I think that's dope that they have that help at school. Most of us weren't taught communication through our triggers. Exactly. That's my problem as an adult. I'm still learning how to effectively communicate through these flames because I'm full-fledged fire. And even when I'm calm or think that I'm calm, sometimes it still stings to people. And so I'm learning how to better communicate and not be so fiery, not be so, lethal. Amora is free. The world cannot relate to her freedom. No, they cannot. And they want to break that part of her. And I'm just doing everything in me to try to reserve some of it. I know naturally certain things are gonna break off because of her getting what's the fucking word? Going into society, like becoming one with society or whatever the fuck. I know that naturally certain things are just gonna fall off her, but I'm doing my best to try to reserve some of that free spirit that she has, because as adults it's something that we wish we had, and we had it in full access, full blown when we were born, and when as we were growing up.
All right, y'all, a word from Rambo, aka Wild Quetzal.
What up, y'all? I'm excited to share an offering that I've been putting a lot of intention and energy into. It's called Wild Brotherhood, and it's a community for conscious, intentional, sovereign-seeking men who are wanting to come together, build themselves up, develop themselves, and level up in all domains of existence. So there's two parts to the Wild Brotherhood. I'll explain it very simply. The first part is a monthly membership that includes weekly video calls, a group chat, access to a network of men who have different skill sets. We will intertwine that with one another, as well as priority access to the in-person events, which is part two, the gathering.
Y'all be sure to check out Rambo at wildbrotherhood.com. Any men out there who are interested in building with like-minded men, check them out.
Things happen and experiences happen as we get hurt and we dabble more into our lower vibrations and more of the time, because kids get mad in a second, but they'll be happy in a second too. So they don't spend as much time beating at that part of themselves. You know what I'm saying? As adults, we'll sit on some shit and be angry or be hurt or be grieving about some shit for a minute. And so what that does is that take away from that light that's within us. And it's something that we miss as adults. It's still there. It's still there. We all got a light that's in us, right? But we remember how bright that light used to be. And so, yeah, that's the best way I can say it. Remember how bright that light used to be, and we wish that we still had that. And that's what we see in children. That's what makes them so innocent and so pure. Yet we can't help but to break them down like we've been broke down. And if some of us can just catch ourselves or try to reserve some parts of them, like their imagination. It's good to keep your imagination as you get older and you want to meditate and you want to, you want to astral project at will. You got to know how to imagine. You got to know how to meditate. You got to know how to sit there and breathe and be in your head. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you have to retrain yourself to do as an adult if it was stripped away from you. If you didn't spend as much time or you didn't know the importance. Most of us didn't even know we was astral projecting when we was younger. We didn't even know what the name was. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. We just thought we was having a bad dream or some shit like that. When really it was a gift. And as we get older, we try to get back to those gifts. And so that's why it's important to never lose the gifts. Like never let them be fully stripped away from you if you can help it. And we're the ones that's in control of that, because we're the ones that's responsible for the children. So anyway, I'm not going to talk y'all ear off. I'm about to enjoy my blunt because I can't even smoke because I'm talking so much. Which is why I don't even know why I got on here trying to smoke. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy my little time. It's about to be 11 o'clock. Got to go pick up my baby in a couple of hours. So I'm enjoying my time to myself. I'm still looking for me an overnight job. So I'm about to put in me some more applications.
All right, y'all. So I am back with another great read. This is the Goddess Affirmation book, authored by Janae. Some of you may know her as Nateri. She is an ex-Carbonation member, and she has authored this amazing book. The book is available on Amazon.com. Just search for the Goddess Affirmation book, authored by Janae Newell.
I'm still looking for me an overnight job, so I'm about to put in me some more applications. And other than that, y'all, I hope y'all have a beautiful day. I hope y'all was able to take something from this conversation. Like, the main point is just have patience with these children. Like, we need to have patience with ourselves, with these children's. With ourselves dealing with these children as well. We need to have patience with these children and with ourselves as we're dealing with these children. We both deserve it. We both deserve that grace, and just trying to just preserve as much light as we can in them for as long as we can. And if that means looking at the things that we do that may be affecting them on a psychological level that we're not aware of, like whooping and yelling, screaming, whatever the case may be, not communicating effectively, anything, then it's good for us as adults, as parents, to look at ourselves and see where we can adjust. It's okay to have to adjust. It's okay that we're still growing and learning too. It's okay that we're responsible for teaching kids and we still have some learning to do. So long as we can admit that, right? So long as we can admit that we still got some growing and learning to do. And then work towards that. But anyway, I'm getting off. Beautiful people, have a beautiful day. All right, mama, I appreciate you going back and forth. Building, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate your energy, per usual. Beautiful soul. And y'all have a beautiful day. Peace.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video as well as my commentary. Please be sure to drop me a comment, smash the heck out of that like button, and share. Guys, I want to give a warm welcome to all of my new subscribers. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the channel. To all of my OGs, my day ones, my ride or dies. Y'all already know what it is. Big up yourself. We in the building with it.